Hey guys, good morning and welcome back to an episode of Folgers and Backwards, the mid-morning solo cipher. It's your girl, yours truly, Ruby Red, certified spiritual life coach, certified meditation teacher, herbal healer, and mentor of magic. Sending you guys much love, high vibrations, and positive energy throughout the airwaves. Word. Blessings on making today a better day than yesterday, and blessings on utilizing today as a stepping stone for creating your best version of tomorrow. Ashe, guys, and thank you so much for tuning in. Today's episode is going to be a little slow. Let me explain. Going through something in real time. I've been analyzing for the last few weeks and been working on taking notes on for clients as well as for a podcast episode, for a blog, for communication with you guys on feelings. If you follow me on social media, you've probably seen a post or two in regards of it. It's something that I'm working on getting a better understanding. And yesterday, when I say baby, I was feeling all kind of feelings. And first of all, I'm proud of myself. I was in tuned enough, mind, body, and soul, to realize that I was an emotional fucking wreck, and to use that as a great opportunity to get some real raw info. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was paying attention to small things that was going on throughout my day. Like, I've really gotten good with grounding energy and taking control where I can, releasing it where I can't, and just controlling high vibrations. But I think that's a big misconception when it comes to spirituality and spiritual people. We're not always high vibing. We experience lows like everybody else. This is life. This is a physical existence. Things hurt physically, emotionally, right? Instead of, which is a process I've been doing for years, acknowledging my feelings, growing through my feelings, I decided to take a little while and sit in my feelings, and not for the purpose of understanding the feeling. I wanted to understand the spark, where the fuck did this come from? You know what I'm saying? We have imagination station. So we have this whole little Rolodex in our head, and each tab is filled with experiences, with memories, with joys and trauma. And as it builds, eventually we don't gain new experiences with new emotions to fill in the Rolodex. The Rolodex is kind of full. Like, we've experienced not all that we can experience, just all that we are able to experience right now. So therefore, we repeat experiences emotionally. I promise I'm gonna explain all of this in detail. So my goal yesterday was to sit in my feelings and to feel my feelings and to understand why I even have these feelings. Like, where is the spark that very first initiated this negative feeling? What was it trying to protect me from? Because that's what our emotions do. They allow us to be present. They allow us to stay safe. They're like the compass rolls on a map. They tell us which direction to go. Oh, this doesn't feel good. Go that way, you know? So yesterday, I guess it's fortunate. Yesterday I was in my bag, y'all. And I really appreciate the experience because I learned a lot. And with this long ass intro being over, we're gonna talk about it. So yeah, let's get into emotional alchemy. So emotional alchemy is what I'm calling it. And the best way that I could define it is the ability to take or to transmute emotion into wisdom. And wisdom is probably one of our most powerful tools in our magical toolbox, because when we know something and apply it, I'm big on that. You can know everything in the world, but if you don't utilize the information, how beneficial is it for you, right? But when we understand, when we utilize the knowledge that we gain, we can use that knowledge to avoid future mishaps. In this case, future uncomfortabilities, future emotional dangers and damage, right? So, what did I learn yesterday? I learned first, mind, body, soul alignment is no joke. It's nothing that I wasn't already fully aware of, but it is something that, again, it's one thing to know something, it's something else to completely experience it. So, I started my day off with the bath, cleansing bath, a grounding bath. I went to bed with heavy thoughts and emotions, and I thought it was pure Piscean energy that I wanted to go to sleep. I'm always saying that Pisces are escape artists. That's what we do when we're not grounded, when we're not, when we don't feel protected, when we feel any form of, I don't like this. We're really good for just avoiding, you know what I'm saying? People think Pisces are pussy. We're not pussy. We just avoid things because we don't want to go dark Pisces mode. So last night, my trigger happened, and it threw me in a bunch of emotions. I was a bit relieved, and at the same time, full of anxiety. Confusion was a big part of what I was experiencing. And for me personally, confusion and not knowing is very, very stressful for me. I'm a very smart girl, and besides being smart, I'm a very curious girl. I love to learn, I love to explore, I love to investigate, and I love to research. So when something happens and I can't get more understanding, more knowledge, clarity on a situation, I get frustrated. That was the next phase that I was experiencing. So once I realized that I was experiencing more negative emotions than positive, the only positive emotion I really felt at that time was relieved, and also spiritually validated in the fact that my cards warned me this was going to happen. So yeah, Leo rising, my ego kicked in for a little bit, but it wasn't enough to keep me on the vibe that I was 2 seconds before I got the trigger. So yeah, I started vibing low, and I tried to navigate through it. I tried to feel it. I tried to do my little breathing, and it just wasn't working. And I spent a lot of time with my kids. I have an adult son and I have a teenage daughter. I spent a lot of time with my kids. My apartment is small. There's not really too many places to retreat when I'm feeling the way I was feeling. And I'm not gonna lie, being that was the trigger moment, it was really unexpected, and it was really overwhelming, and basically I couldn't hide it. So once I realized that I wasn't able to self-regulate, and that I was gonna be visibly uncomfortable, visibly anxious, visibly unhappy, I decided to take my ass to bed. And I just chalked that up to, like, yeah, let me be the good Pisces that I am. I'm gonna go sleep this off. So when I woke up yesterday and I still had such strong emotions, it was like, okay, it's 5:30 a.m., sis. We're not going back to bed. We're gonna have to deal with this. So, regular alchemy, I started cleaning my bathroom, cleaned the whole house. By 7 a.m., my house was clean, and I was still in my feelings. So it was like, okay, cool. I always need a reason to take a bath. Boiled me up some rose, some lavender, and some patchouli. Bath recipes, herbal info. Roses are great for self-love. Lavender is really great for calming anxiety. And patchouli is really, really good for gentle dominance and letting go. So those are the herbs I chose, and for that reason. So I took my bath, and nothing. Got out the tub, still in my bag. What did I do? Grab my journal. Started journaling. And as I'm journaling, I'm analyzing my trigger, right? It steps to everything. So this is the step I'm on now. Now I'm analyzing the trigger, and it's like, yeah, this, that, and the third. And as I was acknowledging my feelings, right? Because even acknowledging my feelings is a really big thing. I don't have the book near. Yeah, this is the right one. I got a couple of books by him, and I'm reading them. I thought I put this one by me, because I did. Mentioned it in my last book, but I want to show you, in my last podcast, but I want to show y'all. I am reading this book by Don Michael Ruiz. It's called The Voice of Knowledge. I'm recording on 2 different cameras, so I'm trying to make sure both cameras can see it. First of all, shout out to him, because his wisdom, his knowledge, not his alone, the wisdom of him and the Toltec people, his people, is so enlightening, and the fact that he was so generous to share it with the world is so appreciated. So love, light, blessings, and grace. Thanks to you. But I love this book because he refers to the spoiler alert, I'm not gonna give y'all all of it because I really do want y'all to order that book, download it. Somebody on YouTube even have the audio book. I don't know if it's for The Voice of Knowledge. I know the 4 Acknowledgements. That's another great ass book that he made. Y'all got, that was my first book that I read by him. Hence why I have so many more books by him, or I'm looking into. I got 2 more books by him. I think it's a total of 3. Yeah, but I get carried away. I get excited. His books is worth it, and if you don't financially have it right now to get it, YouTube University, baby. The audios is up there. Listen to them. They're not long. See, they're not extremely long books. I'm already almost done after like 4 days. It is really not that serious, but he refers to the voice in our head, our consciousness, as the great deceiver, the liar. And I've been rocking with that because I resonated with that, because a lot of the shit that I have voices in my head, plural. You ever saw what's the name of the movie, Split, by M. Night Shyamalan? He owed me rights to that because nobody saw him put my business on the screen like that. I'd be bugging in my head, but we're not we're not dangerous like that. We come to agreements before we make actions. So yeah, and most of them are peaceful. I'm not even gonna edit that. Y'all wanna know me, y'all gonna know me, I'll be bugging. But anyway, with that all being said, I really floated with that idea because yeah, there be people, there be thoughts, there be voices, parts of me, of ego in my head that just be saying some dumb shit sometimes. And for a long time, I truly did believe the dumb shit that I used to be saying. They were all lies. They were all lies. They were the great deceiver. They were in my head, and they were great because they were doing such a good job making me believe the bull. And the bull that I believe that shaped my reality, it did shape my choices. You know what I'm saying? And I went through a lot because I was listening to voices in my head. So with that approach, that was the purpose of me bringing all that up. So that approach is fresh in my head as I'm rereading this book right now. And yeah, so I'm journaling, and as I'm journaling, I'm expressing how I feel about somebody, and the liar comes in like, no, that's not how you feel. It was about and I had to honestly be honest with myself, like, that's not true. That's not true. I can't speak for the trigger, but I can speak for myself. And everything was 100% genuine on my end. And acknowledging that allowed me to play with and analyze so many emotions that were connected to the fact that I genuinely have such strong feelings. And again, it's not about judgment. I'm not gonna say that the feelings are good or bad. They're minds. You know what I'm saying? Everything about me is fucking fabulous. So now I need to understand, at least for the low vibrations, because the high vibrations is like, I like these, so we're not gonna dissect these into little teeny parts right now. They're not a problem. The lower vibrations, though, the ones that are making me feel crazy, I need to get to the root of them. So I sat in them. And again, I didn't judge them as bad. And I didn't sit there and keep obsessing. I didn't cast spells over myself by saying, I am. I acknowledged the feeling of unworthiness. Because that's how I felt. That's one of the feelings I was feeling really intensely yesterday. Not worthy and not good enough. And I'm dissecting through that feeling. And I'm thinking about all the amazing things that I've achieved in life so far. And how much I'm doing to quadruple, if not like amplify that number by like 1,000,000 times. And I'm trying to figure out when was the first time I ever felt unworthy? Like, what was happening? And I couldn't figure it out then. And I figured it out this morning, which is a big reason why I wanted to come on and talk about it. Because like I said, I'm going through this. I'll probably be going through it for days. And with the notes I've been already accumulating combined with this would be a 10-hour episode. So definitely look forward to a future episode on this, hopefully in the near future, as I get to a strong understanding and resolve. But right now, this is the flow of it. This is the work through of it all. And I realized, though I cannot pinpoint the exact moment I first allowed myself, I'm not gonna say no one made me feel unworthy, the first time that I allowed myself to experience a feeling of unworthiness. But I do remember that the earliest feelings of unworthiness were always immediately felt after trying so hard. Like, I remember being a kid, I was always creative, always really whimsical and simple, always very Piscean. And I remember doing things with full effort and creativity and full imagination and just joy and happiness, with so much expectation, I guess, of the same energy being projected to me when I presented it to, whether it was my mom or to my brothers or to my dad or to my teachers, classmates. And when I wasn't met with that, I remember not knowing what unworthiness is, but I definitely projected back and seen the whole body and the disappointment and the whole wow. Okay. And that's where that took me to yesterday. I spent a lot of time emotionally as like a 4-year-old. And not the playful version of a 4-year-old, the confused version of a 4-year-old who doesn't understand why something that made them so happy is just like, okay, damn, my heart is beating mad fast. I'm really going through this. Or, that was powerful. I needed that. I needed to understand the earliest versions of unworthiness, so that way I could realize that it was never me who was unworthy. My feelings were real. I did feel unworthy. Yesterday I felt unworthy. And that's okay, because it's not a real feeling. The feeling itself is real, let me not say that. But it's something that was projected towards me. It wasn't mine. I didn't present unworthiness. I was on 1,000,000 when I presented whatever it was, my arts and crafts, knowing me, some fucking bug and I'm caught in a bottle. Like, I was so happy and so optimistic and so excited. And when I wasn't met with that energy, I had an experience. And that experience got chalked up into my Rolodex. And I took that with me throughout life, and I built on that experience. And one card got filled up on the front and then on the back, and then fast forward to yesterday, when I had an experience that made me feel like I'm just not good enough no matter how hard I try. Like, that's where it took me back to. And that's where I needed to be, to understand that it ain't about me not being good enough. Real shit. Because I did my motherfucking best. I did my best. I loved hard. I loved properly. I gave more of me in this scenario than I've ever given to anybody, including myself. And I think, and I know that's what led to other emotions that I was experiencing yesterday, like feeling stupid. And first of all, you never give more. So, and I've learned that in singing class, and I try my best to apply that to everything. You don't give more of yourself to anything than you do to yourself. You always gotta save a little bit for yourself, because then you're left with nothing. And yesterday, I realized how much I gave. And I was proud of myself for the fact that I was even that open, and I was even that willing through past traumas and bad experiences. Like, you would think that, we shut down after rejections and after being hurt. We put walls up. I don't. I actually go harder. And though this experience didn't work out the way I truly wanted it to, it definitely still worked out for my benefit, because I learned and I grew, and today I'm a lot better, stronger, and smarter. So, yeah. All that being said was to give example on how to sit in an emotion, but not to experience it. Because going back to the original source, viewing it allowed me to realize that I don't have to continue experiencing it. That's when it first happened. That's when the experience, the feelings became a part of who I am. But I carried that for so long, and I've applied it. Like I said, when situations in life happen, and that's the feeling that arises, that's when my brain goes back, and that's what I want to talk about. I think that's a smooth way to get into the next part of what I want to talk about. The responses from our emotional triggers, from our feelings. Like I said, me personally, mental exhaustion kicks in real quick when my brain can't process, when my brain is confused and overwhelmed. I get tired, like extremely exhausted. It's a shutdown. It's an escape mechanism, yes, but it's not a Pisces thing. It's a fight or flight thing. We withdraw if we are in situations where we cannot protect ourselves, where we cannot defend ourselves. We hide. That's the next logical thing for us to do. And for me, my bed under the covers is the best place to hide. Seriously, being emotionally weak is a nervous system response. We have to learn to regulate our nervous systems the same way. And it's funny, because I just thought about it just now. This is what started this whole leg of this journey. I've been working on for months now, regulating my nervous system to accept happiness, right? Like, my brain understands that I'm a millionaire. I'm just waiting on my millions. My brain understands that the company I'm building is a legacy. It's going to survive past my lifetime. That the lessons that I'm putting out there, that I'm helping people with, the growth that I'm experiencing and I'm sharing, is going to be a platform for so many other people for generations to be able to heal and grow within themselves and their own families. So when good things happen as a result of all the things that I'm doing, that I know that I'm doing, sometimes I still get anxiety. Sometimes the crybaby, the victim still lingers when I have to stand up and be tough for myself, when I have to do the right thing for me. And I'm working on being confident. Not confident. I'm working on my nervous system not excreting the wrong hormones when I'm going through these experiences. That's the perfect way to say it, because that's what's happening. Mind, body, soul. My mind got it. My soul got it. My body is still regulating. I'm 41 years old, guys. This allowing myself to have peace is about a good year and a half old. I'm not gonna lie. I've been experiencing peace, but allowing myself to have it, like actually not just creating it, because that's what I've been doing for years. I've been creating my best version of life, but to be able to experience it, like so much of what I've done is caught up to me right now. My future really is now. I'm experiencing in real time the fruit of a lot of the harvest that I've sowed for reap, what I've sowed for so long. It's my turn to reap, and it's still a little oh shit. So I'm working on calming my nervous system down enough to be able to accept these things, to be able to not feel any kind of fear or anything less than what I should be experiencing, which is pure elation. And that growth has led me to wanting to understand the negative side as well, or the lower end of the spectrum. And this is what I've come up with. Because like I said, this is going to be, I'm all over the place. I have very light notes because, again, I've been taking notes for at least like 2.5 weeks on this, maybe 3 weeks, might even been a month. But this is coming from me from yesterday. Like, this is just like so real. I'm taking what I learned over the level. I've been analyzing. I'm trying to make it make sense with what I dead seriously have been going through, what I am going through right now in this moment. Like, so the emotional weakness, right? The exhaustion, the need to just go to sleep. And I say it's a reset. I'm going to go to sleep. I'll be back in like an hour. I'm going to start the day over. That is a flaw. That's a sign, an indication that emotionally you are weak. And it's a defense mechanism. Tiredness is the emotional equation to freezing. Just like irritability is the emotional equation to fight. Overthinking is the emotional equivalent to flight, and people pleasing is the emotional equivalent to fawning, to hiding. You know what I'm saying? All right, I can't get away. I can't fight them. Let me just make them happy. Does that make sense to you guys? I really hope this makes sense, guys, because we need to be able to understand that we do these things so that way we can stop doing them when they're not in our benefit. You know what I'm saying? They're survival responses. They're not flaws. They're our body's way of saying that something doesn't feel safe. Even if it's not physically, emotionally, we have an urge to protect ourselves. My cat is bugging this morning, y'all. Where are we? Okay. It's really, and I believe that, okay. And it's really important for us to be aware of these responses via the nervous system, right? Their defenses: fight, flight, fawn, freeze, tiredness, irritability, overthinking, people pleasing. There's emotional and spiritual equivalents. They're survival responses, right? They're meant to keep us safe when we can't keep ourselves safe. I was so overwhelmed, overthinking. That was the flight, trying to escape the thoughts, that the emotions that I was experiencing. Irritability, that was me trying to fight through what I was feeling. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go through fawning because there was no one. I did go through fawning. Oh shit. I did eventually just give in. I got tired of fighting and I did give in. I forgot. I didn't even realize that because technically, long story. This is why you don't people please. Real shit. I just realized that. This is why we gotta go through these emotions. This is why, not besides going through them, we need to sometimes sit in these bitches and analyze the actions and the things that we do. Because I didn't realize that I did that. And now I'm fake irritated at myself that I did it. No. But I am gonna roll up. Give me a second. And the tiredness, because I definitely had to go take a nap yesterday. Tell you, I definitely went to bed early the day before. Oh shoot, did I not bring my weed in here? I was on it. I need a minute. Don't go nowhere. Alright. And just that quick, I'm no longer mad at myself, because realistically, why be mad at me for being me? At the end of the day, I was exhausted, and I just wasn't being heard, and I definitely didn't want to keep going through it. So I, without realizing it, I fawned. I gave in and I people pleased. And it didn't make nothing better. I promise you it didn't. It technically made things worse later on, but we ain't gonna go into that. And I said, those are survival responses. Survival is embedded. It's crazy how designed this world is to make us struggle mentally, physically, and emotionally, spiritually, to where even when you feel like you've evolved from one level of survival, you find yourself time and again in a whole different means of it. All right, so understanding that these emotional responses via the nervous system are not flaws. They are defense mechanisms, and we don't need to be judgy on them like I just was. And we don't need to avoid them neither. We need to regulate them. So how do you do that, right? Most of us were taught to give in to them, to avoid them, to suppress them. I'm not mad. Just sit there, take a deep exhale. You know? But that's not the best way to do it, because then they still sit there and then we still end up pulling on the damn Rolodex later on when we have similar experiences. Actually learning how to transmute the energy. That's what we need to be able to do. To use it from wisdom, to learn from it. And the first step to that is sitting in it. Is that finding out, not necessarily the focus don't have to be on when you first think, oh, what caused the first experience. Just the realization around when you first had the experience. What were you personally going through? What were you expecting? And then realizing that what you got back, that triggered that new experience, it wasn't you. That's the first step to releasing or transmuting the energy into wisdom and being able to grow through the emotion. Realizing that it wasn't even yours. It's not like you came into the party feeling unworthy or less than or unpretty or, you know, just not good enough. Somebody gave that to you. Give that shit back. So how do we begin to regulate our nervous system outside of, shadow work and understanding that the emotion may be ours, but something gave that to us. It triggered it. It wasn't something that we initially, it didn't innately come from us. It wasn't a birthed emotion or a base emotion. There are a lot of different ways to regulate your nervous system. Somatic breathing is definitely one of them. So it's using breath to regulate your nervous system. And there's several different ways you can do somatic breathing. You can take deep inhales through your nose and exaggerated breaths out of your mouth. Let me demonstrate. You want to breathe in. And then when you exhale, you want it to be really dramatic. There should always be sounds. You should always feel an intense pull in your lungs as it's like going sinking in for the exhale. The extended exhales tell your body that you're safe now. It's like a sigh of relief. Remember, the subconscious brain doesn't know the difference between real and fake. So you can literally allow your body to go through physical expressions like deep sighs of relief, and that will send off the proper hormones and pheromones to let your body know that you're safe, it's good, everything's over with. The physical act of the deep exhale triggering your brain to understand that it's now safe. The vocals actually play a role too. When we deeply exhale, you feel the vibrations as they move through your body. You feel it on your lips, your tongue, in your voice box. Everything is vibration. That vibration is soothing. Again, we're talking about on subconscious and molecular levels that this might not make sense to you until you actually do it and experience it. But it's like sitting in a vibrational chair. But again, it's not for your whole body. Your body isn't just vibrating, and it's only for a split second as you do the your throat, your spine, your brain, they're all really kind of connected in a small little geographical location. So yeah, it's responding and it's sending the right signals, and it'll help allow you to stay present in your analyzations of your emotions, and it'll help you experience them presently without going in your head into that Rolodex, pulling up subconsciously stored childhood trauma or childhood reaction to trauma. Another helpful way to get your nervous system back into homeostasis to where you can feel your feelings without being overwhelmed by your feelings is rewriting your response code. As mentioned, I was extremely proud of myself that once I realized what I was feeling, I made the decision to utilize the experience to gain more clarity. That's giving myself grace. That's extending compassion. That's redirecting the energy and focus. And big shit, that's spiritual discipline. These are things that we have to draw on. They're necessary to draw on and to extend to ourselves when we're going through bull. The concept of eye for an eye or matching energy is mad whack. At the end of the day, when something bad happens, you don't have to have a bad response in kind. We're trained that that's how we're supposed to respond. Oh, something bad happened. You're supposed to cry. You're supposed to feel bad. You're supposed to get upset. People, it's what's so crazy and how trained and programmed we are to match energy and to respond negatively to negative things. If someone experiences a tragedy, death, loss of a loved one, loss of finances, like a sudden loss, wasn't expected, right? In any capacity. And the person is genuinely okay with the loss, people think that they're mentally unstable. People think that they're in shock. People think that, they get nervous for them. They're like, oh, no. Because when it hits them, it's going to hurt. And a lot of the times, that is fawning. A lot of the times, we use escapism in our mind. We avoid the fact that we're going through things. That does happen a lot more than people actually understanding the situation and making the conscious choice to not have an emotional response to it. But especially as a person who's working on that, being that kind of a person, it's kind of scary to think that that's so unfamiliar to us, that if someone loses a loved one and their response is not immediate devastation, or if they go through the devastation in what you deem too quickly of a time, that now you're nervous for them. Now you scared that they're going to end up losing their shit later on because they didn't deal with stuff. They did deal with it. They made their peace with it. It's nothing that they can do about it. And it makes no sense to fall into a depression for 2, 3 weeks, months, years. There's nothing wrong with it if that's how you have to cope with it. Healing doesn't have a time frame. Our feelings are ours and they're always valid. The purpose of this episode was to share my reality that even the feelings that we believe we own sometimes are not ours. Sometimes they were given to us at a time of such an extreme high that we accepted them and we allowed it to weigh us down, so much so that we constantly draw back on that emotion based on one ass experience. That's what I'm trying to get. A lot of the emotions that we're feeling are based off of emotions that we experienced years ago, that instead of letting that be an experience and moving on, we carry with us. And now we're still pulling on that experience. And I have the understanding and the reality that we don't necessarily have to. And even if we tend to, we can realize that we're doing it and make the conscious decision that we don't want to do it anymore. Does that make sense? Okay, so I think I covered everything that I have words to cover. That's the amazing thing about spiritual experiences, emotional experiences, going through things in real time. Hindsight is 20/20, but when you're in the raw mix of it, it sometimes can be a little hard to put things into words. So first of all, if you made it this far, shout out to you and thank you so much for allowing me to navigate through my own emotions and experiences and to share this with you guys. I know I got a little emotional in the beginning, and that's what emotions are, right? They're not just something that we feel, they're something that we show, they're something that we express, they're something that we give off. So it's so important for us to have a good grip on our emotions, to give them a name, to give them a place, an understanding. And in my opinion, to give them a proper time frame. Allow them to live. but not to take over your day, week, month, year. I know for me at least, understanding where the feeling of less than and unworthiness originally stemmed from definitely gave me the ego boost that in the most current situation that invoked such a strong emotion the same way as in the first time. That shit ain't have nothing to do with me personally. It wasn't nothing that I did. It's how I was received or perceived, or how my effort was perceived. And even with that, I promise I'm not gonna make this long. We're not responsible for how people feel. We're not responsible for how people see us. People who draw these images, oh, she's so perfect. Oh, he's so handsome. Oh, he's just this, that. Listen, that's their business. The way they see you is their business. If you don't live up to their standards, that's their business, not yours. As long as you're doing your best, you're giving your best, you're everything that you want to be, mind, body, and soul, and only evolving and working to being better versions of that, you don't owe nobody nothing. And nobody's perception of you or what you should be should ever affect how you feel or how you see yourself. Word. And with that being said, I'm gonna get ready and wrap this up. If you enjoyed this conversation, I'm still mad new with this. Y'all see, I probably have like the corniest YouTube channel as of right now on YouTube. I don't have intros. I don't know how to do all that. I don't have nobody doing all that. I'm not paying nobody to do all that. I got fucking Canva Pro. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get my shit together. But they do, when I upload the video, they do ask me about adding the cards, and I have figured out that the cards are other video links. At least I believe they are. So I'm gonna figure out. I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna figure out how to link my 10-minute meditation video to the end of this. That meditation video is to help with energy resets, and I actually created it during this whole leg of the journey where I'm learning to accept positive emotions and, regulating my nervous system. So I think that's a great little follow-up to this. If you guys are dealing with heavy emotion and stress, if you're looking for a way to relax and dig deep into yourself, check it out. It's 10 minutes long, and if you click the link in the comments to the video, you can download the meditation for free, along with some journal prompts and affirmations that I added on into it. So make sure you guys check that out. And anything else? Oh yeah, well, I'm doing promos. If you're in Brooklyn, this week I'm having a meditation and elevation summer solstice event. I'll link the tickets to that also in the comments. Definitely pop out. Let's get high and vibe. Word to mother. It's gonna be a really cool day, outdoor backyard event. We're gonna be meditating and channeling all the positive energies, high vibes under the summer solstice sunset. So I hope to see you guys there. But yeah, I think I hit everything, guys. Like I said, if you made it this far, shout out to you. Thank you for viewing. I hope this resonates, and I hope it finds you when it needs to find you. I hope it's not just a bunch of me yapping, and this does resonate, that this does make sense to you guys, and that it is helpful and beneficial, because real shit is helping me, and no man's an island. So if I'm going through these kind of things and I'm working on figuring out and getting more in tune with myself, so that way I can create and live my best version of life. Because I guarantee you what, the next air quote trigger that tries to pull in my mental Rolodex to make me feel like I'm not valued, or that my efforts, that my presence, that my body, that my love, that my me is not good enough, I better pop that shit, them fingers before they flick through that bitch. And no, we're not pulling up those feelings, because I am. And that is that. Much love, much ashe. Namaste, guys. Later.